Hi, this is Paul Santisi in the studio, and the title of this audio course is The Hidden Miracle: How to Remove Negative Emotional Blocks from Past Traumas and Experiences that are holding most people back from being open to receive the wonderful things that life force is begging to give you, and to start achieving your goals and dreams without any resistance in your mind, your DNA vibration, and exist in the moment purely from the heart. You see, this is when your life becomes your life for the rest of your physical life and beyond. Now, I'm going to say some things on this audio that many people who do seminars, workshops, online webinars, and those who have courses on this subject and who charge hundreds and in some cases charge thousands of dollars, by the way, to attend these events or to purchase their courses. Well, some of them are going to get mad as hell at me with what I'm about to teach you on this audio for nothing. And frankly, folks, I do not care. And I am sure that I will start getting emails from these guys as soon as this audio is posted live all around the world saying, Paul, what are you doing? What are you doing, man? Stop. You have to stop. You can't do this. People have to pay to learn this. You just can't give this information away to the masses. You have to charge people first. You have to do what we do. You know what I say to those people? I say, go pound sand and watch me. Now, there is absolutely a time and a place where charging a fee is perfectly fine to present valuable information or techniques and concepts. And there is nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong at all. Because what most people miss is that when you are willing to give up time and money to learn something, there is an exchange of energy that happens. Because you are making an agreement, a commitment, and a decision to yourself to create positive change in your life. And there is a very powerful and beneficial energetic exchange that opens up tremendous prosperity to be allowed to flow in and through you when you are willing to give up time and money to learn something in order to release certain powers or abilities that will literally blow your mind from an energetic, vibrational, self-empowerment vantage point. Okay? In this case, right now, I'm specifically talking about the subject of removing negative or past emotional traumas and blocks from your vibration. That's what I'm talking about. Because for anyone who is lucky enough, we could say, to learn and apply these powerful techniques in their own life, and to know this knowledge can virtually mean the difference between life and death to someone, then hold that knowledge selfishly from others unless they pay up first. Folks, these actions disgust me. They disgust me. This is a horrible thing to do to another human being. To me, it's no different than putting someone out in the middle of the hot, scorching desert sun and hanging 1,000 gallons of water over their head just out of their reach and watching them suffer and struggle to survive unless they pay you first for a sip of water. This, in my opinion, is pathetic It's disgusting, and it's an asinine way to try to make a buck. You see, these gurus, they use people to make money for themselves first. Their intent is to sell you something and take your money and line their pockets first before they speak. You see, they look at people as money, and they look at people's weaknesses as a conduit for profit. And this is not cool, in my opinion. Boo, 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 and boo to those of you who treat others this way. That is why I decided to create this audio and share it with the masses for nothing. So, by all means, after you listen to this audio, share it. Share it on social media. Tweet about it. Post it to your blogs and websites. Use the links in this video and get this information in the hands of everyone you know, because we can all benefit from this information. And ever since the end of last year, I keep seeing these emails and ads and promotions for this masterclass and that seminar or this webinar, all claiming to give you the golden secrets on how to remove negative blocks and past traumas from your vibration. And they all promise to bring you to the promised land, only after you pay up first. Again, this is a topic that I believe once one human being learns and applies this in their own life and experiences the magical results that you are all about to experience yourself, that it's then openly shared with anyone who needs to hear this, and everyone needs to hear it, to be honest with you. And they need to hear it for nothing, as a service to mankind, okay? For all of humanity to benefit from. And let's leave the asking money thing. Let's leave the asking for money thing for more specific trainings on various subjects and techniques where it's totally acceptable for the reasons that we already discussed. Now, I don't know about you, but there is more to me than just a quick buck. We are all living beings that are made up of energy, emotions, and desires, who want nothing more than to give and receive love as we experience life in this physical reality. There is so much more to us as beings than what most understand. And that is sad. It really is sad. Because most people, they just smell a buck. And they skip over the most important aspect of what it means to be alive. And that is to know who you really are and what you are here to do. And to feel good about yourself. And then become a source of inspiration for others to expand through. You see, the magic is when you love people first. Love people first. And then use money to assist more people. Now, if we back up for a minute, if you have been listening to my audios and videos over the last few years, or maybe you just discovered me recently, there is something that cannot be denied. You can feel where I'm coming from energetically. I do not sugarcoat things. I do not waste time on fluff. I do not waste your time spouting unproven or made-up logic or sound good information or stupid, unproven opinions like 99% of others do. I just come out of the gate and tell you how it is, folks. And I come out full speed ahead with knowingness and enthusiasm for you to become great. And I do it based on my own personal observations and experiences. And I speak from the heart. And I've said this over and over and over and over and over again. I am not here to try to impress anyone. I am here to assist the capable to become more capable and the able to become more able. You see, I'm not looking for any brownie points, folks. Okay? I simply want the best for you and everyone else on this planet. And ultimately, at the core, my core intention is for one person who listens to anything that I create and share to feel better about themselves. My intention is just for one person to feel something within themselves. My intention is just for one person to feel something within themselves. So then they can say to themselves in that moment, you know what? I've got what it takes. I am a somebody, and I'm going to achieve all of my goals and dreams. Period. End of story. It's not to try to impress anyone or to change anyone. Do you see the difference? I made the decision long ago to create more value than what I ask for in exchange. And this is something that is part of who I am. It is part of my DNA vibration. I made the decision to love people and to use money to assist more people to release the greatness that I know we all are. You see, I'll share something with you. When I want something, or I want to make a purchase that costs money, you see, I do something that virtually no one else does. And the gurus out there, all you gurus, you certainly don't do this. Now, what most people think is, how can I sell this? How can I sell this? Or how can I sell that to make money? How can I make money? Or they think about, how can I get someone to buy what I'm selling? How can I make a sale? Or how can I make more sales? Now, folks, this is hogwash, okay? Because with this mentality, this way you are using people to make money. And that, in my opinion, is a real shitty way to exist, to be honest with you. To me, these types of people are nothing but parasites trying to take what they can from as many people as they can, as fast as they can. Now, that's just my opinion, okay? The way that I have learned from my mentors, the way to attract things into my life, well, it works like this. And it works. And it works. And it works. Okay? I never think, what can I sell or what can I say to Mary, Jack, and Sue so they buy something from me? Because I need X amount of money to buy whatever it is that I want. No, no, no. That is not what I do. My approach, which is a proven technique, by the way, that I'm going to share with you, works like this. You see, I think about what I want, and I figure out to the penny what it will cost. Then I turn to the universe in the law of attraction, and I say, universe, this is what I want, and this is how much it cost. And I feel the feelings. I generate the feelings that it will give me when I have it. Then I confidently say to the universe, deliver that, please. And then I let it go. And I feel good without putting a time frame on getting it. Let me tell you what begins to occur. The universe always responds to those feelings and those broadcasts by presenting people, situations, circumstances, and events that magically begin to present themselves. And before I know it, what I want shows up in my life. Now, you might want to go back and listen to that again and again, because I shared with you a massive nugget of gold right there. Okay, I got a little sidetracked with that story there for a moment, and that's okay, because what I just clarified to you was very powerful. And for those of you who apply what we just covered in your life, it's going to positively change many of you and how you look at yourself and how you look at your life and how you look at others. And that's a great thing. Okay, now let's talk about clearing out these negative blocks from our vibration and from our DNA vibration for good. Now, the fact is that the technique to clear out these blocks only takes a few minutes to learn. It's applying it that takes the effort, okay? It's actually applying what you're about to learn that takes all the effort. Now, I'm not going to tell you that it's easy, because it's not. It can be a very uncomfortable and emotionally trying activity to put yourself through. Because when I first did this, I cried for hours and hours. I felt emotions flow through me and come out of me that I never knew I could feel. And how I looked and thought about myself and others, and how I viewed the world from my own two eyes, permanently changed forever. You see, I became the captain of my fate and the master of my own soul, and I never looked back. Now, my question to you is, are you ready? Are you ready to become who you really are? Are you ready to let go of all the excuses? Are you ready to only point the finger at yourself? Are you ready to become a somebody with purpose, drive, and enthusiasm for life and all of its bounty? Are you ready to release all the negative energy that you've been holding on to up to this point? And are you ready to allow yourself to be open to receive the life that you desire? Say yes right now. Yes. Say it again. Say it out loud. Yes. 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 Because I know that this is something that we all want and that we all desire. We all want to feel free with no limits. And just so you know, out of the billions and billions of people on this planet right now that have come before us as well, the billions that have come and gone already, only a very few ever get to learn and experience what you're about to learn right now. And I can tell you that for those of you who commit to applying this to yourself, how you will feel during and after will simply be amazing. Words will not be able to describe how you will feel. You will have so much more confidence and gratitude toward yourself and your ability to see clearly and to create. And your ability to create, it's just going to become magical. Okay? Now, the first things to grasp is that everything is feelings and emotions. And I mean everything is feelings and emotions. I mean, let's think about it. Why do we eat our favorite foods? Because they make us feel good while we're eating them. Why do we watch comedy shows? Because when we laugh, we feel good, right? Why do we dance and sing? Because we feel amazing when we dance and sing. Why, for us pet lovers, do we have pets in our life? Because we enjoy the love that our pets give us. Why do we work out or exercise? Because even if we hate to exercise, even if we hate that activity, we all love the results with how we feel after. And everything that we have gone through in life has left us with feelings and emotions in the form of memories. Some good and some not so good. Wouldn't you agree? Of course. And I know that many of you have been through some very traumatic and horrific things in your life. Now, the following is going to get very emotional for many of you. And you're going to feel levels of emotions when you apply this that you may have been trying to bury or suppress or forget about for quite some time. If at any point when you're applying what we're going to talk about, if you begin to feel anxious or overwhelmed, just simply stop. Take a 5-10 minute break, go have a glass of water, have some lunch, go for a walk. Just take a break, okay? Because in order to clear out negative blocks, we must relive them and change the overall emotion that is currently attached to that particular life experience. And one thing that we are not going to do, one thing that we are not going to focus on is understanding or trying to understand why ABC situation happened to us in the past, or whose fault it was, or whose fault it wasn't. All that stuff is a topic for a completely different audio, okay? On this one, we are going to remove these blocks from our vibration. We don't need to make sense of them. The past is the past, so let's just focus on clearing out these blocks that are holding us back in life. Agreed? Okay, great. Let's all take a deep breath in through your nose and exhale out your mouth. In through your nose and exhale out your mouth. I am here to tell you that you cannot forget what has happened in the past. You cannot bury or suppress what you don't want to recall. And you cannot just ignore what you went through. Everything that you have experienced in life, good or bad, it's part of your memory bank, it's part of your vibration, and it's part of who you are in your DNA's vibration. okay? It's who you trust and who you do not trust, how you think, what you believe, and what you like and don't like. Now, so many of us fly off the handle or lose it emotionally when you see or hear something that brings back things that happened in the past. And this is what we're going to work on. And when you relive these moments, when this occurs, you feel like crap, right? And you get very upset emotionally and physically. And too many people take out these emotions on those that we tend to care most about. And there is no good in that. So let's correct it, okay? Because it's not fair to others. Because we can fix it, and we're going to fix it. Now, in my own life, I know a girl who, every time she hears the sound of fingers snapping, like this, okay? Every time she hears this, she gets mad as hell, and she becomes very aggressive, and she starts to yell and get very loud and very scary, okay? Now, how do I know this? One day, I was snapping to a song in my head, and I was in her presence. Folks, before I knew it, I was on the floor, okay? She had whacked me so hard in the back of the head that I hit the floor. Now, I am not a small guy, okay? I weigh about 260 pounds, and I fell like a ton of bricks. Slam! Bang! Right on the floor. And when I asked her, what the are you doing? What are you doing? She said, never snap like that again. And folks, the look in her eyes, okay? She meant it. Never snap at me like that again. And after talking with her a little bit more, it all went back to a past relationship trauma that she never cleared out. She was trying to bury and suppress and forget about it. And that doesn't work. So when I snapped my fingers, she relived some horrible, traumatic events that she went through in her past. And she took it out on me. Or she would take it out on whoever snapped in her presence. Another friend of mine, the same thing. Anytime you mention doing some home repairs or construction, if he's not in the right mood, when you mention it, he snaps. And he goes out of control because his whole life he had helped his family do construction. And he feels that he missed out on most of his childhood. And he freaks out. Okay? I myself, I used to lose it when people would say, Paulie, want a cracker? Paulie, want a cracker? Because I heard it my whole life growing up in school. I heard it every day, and I heard it over and over and over again. Paulie, want a cracker? Paulie, want a cracker? Paulie, want a cracker? Paulie, want a cracker? And it used to drive me nuts, folks. It used to drive me crazy. And then, when I was younger, in my younger days, when I would go out to the bars or the clubs, and some drunk guy would say, hey, Paulie, want a cracker? And look at me and laugh with this stupid drunk look. Folks, my eyes used to go red, and I would lose my temper big time. Just over the words, Paulie, want a cracker. So, I can relate. I know what you have gone through. I can feel your pain and frustration. And I know what it's like to be set off in the moment over something. Now, these are just a couple of examples, and I know many of you have survived much, much, much worse, okay? The good news is that the process to clear it all out, it's the same, no matter what you've gone through. Now, this is how you do the technique. And you may want to write this down. So if you have a pen with blue ink and a white piece of paper, fantastic. If not, that's fine. Simply just listen through. Actually, you know what? Just listen through and then go back and listen to this audio again and take the notes. So forget about it. Put the paper down, put the pen down, and just listen. Like I said, this is how you do this negative energy block release, okay? Like we said, you cannot forget, bury, or suppress anything that you've gone through in life. However, you can replace how you feel when you think about what you went through. Think about that. You can't forget it. You can't suppress it. You can't ignore it. However, you can replace how you feel when you think about what you went through. This is key. You can change how you feel when you think about what you went through. Because when you change the emotion to one that feels better, you're releasing that negative block forever. You're breaking it up. Okay? Now, this is the formula. This is the magical formula. The formula is to relive, confront, acknowledge, and replace with a different emotion or feeling that feels better. Because you have the ability to change the emotion that is attached to the traumatic event that you went through. Changing how you feel when you think about it is the energetic release from it. Does this make sense? Say yes. Yes. Even if it doesn't make 100% sense right now, say yes, because it will. Yes. Okay, great. Okay, now this is the tough part. This is the tough part. It's not easy, and it's not fun. It's hard. It's painful, and it can make you feel very uncomfortable at times. I recommend you just let your emotions flow and let them flow through and out of you. Okay? This is the part of this audio where your courage comes in. And trust me, you're going to put yourself through the biggest emotional test of your life. And I can tell you, as someone who has done this himself, and what he is sharing with you right now, it will be the best lesson in character that you will ever experience for yourself. So, what you need to do is to go back in your mind to the point that ABC experience occurred and relive that moment as clearly as you can. See the sights, smell the smells, envision it as clear as you can with as much detail. And mentally walk yourself through these events in your mind. And at the moment that the trauma occurred that has stuck with you ever since, you must change the emotion to a feeling that feels better. Now, like I said, this is the hard part, is to relive. It's extremely difficult to relive certain things. I know. But this is the way to do it. This is the most effective way to do it. There is hundreds of ways to clear out negative blocks. This, you're addressing your vibration at its core, okay? And there's a huge energetic benefit to that, to who you are. like I said, this is the hard part, but this is the way to do it. Now, here is a couple of my own real-life examples on how I did this in my own life, just to give you an idea. And again, there's no right or wrong way to do it. Only you know how you feel when you think about certain things. So whatever you replace the emotion with, as long as you feel better about it, it's perfectly fine and you're going to experience the results. Now, let's go back to the Polywana cracker block that I had growing up all the way into my mid-20s when I first learned and applied this technique. Okay, that's when I learned this. I was in my mid-20s. Now, when I did this process, what I did was, in my mind, when I heard others making fun of me when they said, Paulie want a cracker, Paulie want a cracker, the first thing I did was relive the first time I could recall that it negatively affected me. And I'll tell you right now, it was said by a fella named Billy Heffernan, okay? And it was probably around kindergarten or the first grade. It was real early on in school. His name was Billy Heffernan, okay? And he was this skinny, curly-haired, freckled kid that kind of annoyed everyone. He was a nice kid. He just annoyed everyone, okay? Now, we did go on to become okay friends later on in life. So, Billy, if you're listening, it's cool, man. It's cool, okay? But in that moment, I confronted the emotion. I acknowledged that I was the one that was allowing it to make me feel bad and to get me angry. Then I replaced it with a feeling of being a WWE wrestler. I've always been a wrestling fan, and I still am, and I love wrestling. So I replaced that with a feeling of being a WWE wrestler and beating Billy in the middle of that ring and hearing the crowd chant and scream as the ref counted 1, 2, 3. And I hear the bell ring, and I envision myself, and I see myself becoming the new world heavyweight champion, standing tall and proud in the middle of that ring as the crowd's cheering as I hold that belt high. You see, that is what I replaced that with for me. Like I said, there's no right or wrong way to do this. Because that little feeling, that little story that I see in my mind, it makes me feel better. It makes me feel much better, okay? Then, moving forward, each time I heard, Paulie want a cracker? Paulie want a cracker? Because, folks, people still say it to me all the time, okay? I'm probably going to hear it for the rest of my life. But now when I hear it, I get empowered and I smile because I know that I am a champion and that no one and nothing can make me feel bad unless I let them make me feel bad. Now, another example of this technique was when I was 12 years old, my dad was killed in a car crash on his way home from work, okay? And the guy who hit him was an 18-year-old kid that was going 85 miles an hour in the middle lane on a road where the speed limit was only 40. And I guess he was really mad and he was pissed off that he had to stay 15 minutes extra for work that day. And he hit my dad's car full speed as my dad was in the middle lane waiting to take a left turn. Anyways, this one took me a while to release because I was really angry and upset for a very long time, okay? And I made some pretty shitty decisions growing up. And I used what happened to me as a kid as kind of a crutch or an excuse or to justify what I had gone through at such a young age. But I finally did it. And like I said, it took me a while. And man, was it hard. And it was a very, very difficult thing to do. And this is how I did it, okay? I remembered something that made me feel better. You see, that day before my dad left for work, I asked him if I could go to work with him. And up until that point, he always said yes. He would always take me to work. And on this day, he looked at me and he said, "Not today." And he left. Now, even though I lost a parent that day at 12 years old, even to this day, even right now, when I think about what happened, I say to myself, you know what? I am so thankful that he said no to me that day, because I would have been in the car and the same fate could have happened to me. Now, when I think about my dad, I thank him for saying no to me and making me stay home. I express gratitude, and I'm thankful that it could have been much, much worse. And like I said, there's no right or wrong way to do this technique. The key is to replace the emotion with one that feels better. Okay? Okay. One more quick story, and then let's carry on. Let's fast forward a little bit, and let's talk about when I got married. And I think that was, oh no, my wife better not hear this, but I think it was 8 years ago, coming up on 8 years, something like that. Anyways, my best man was my childhood friend since we were about 4 years old, okay? And we spent a lot of time together playing sports, hiking and skiing over the years, and going to parties and spending nights like Christmas Eve eating his mom's amazing Italian seafood. And we were always hanging out all throughout high school, middle school, high school, and for years after college, okay? We were together a lot throughout our whole life. And he actually lived with me for a while, and we were just really good, solid friends who respected each other, okay? So the day of my wedding, he gave the best speech ever presented by a best man. And folks, he roasted me. He roasted me like a pro. And he did such a good job that every guest and those even working the event were in tears. They were laughing so hard. And he told me he loved me, and we had a great time that day. Then, the next day, I went by his house to pick up his tuxedo to drop it off at the store where we had rented him. And he decided that he hated me. He went on to blame me for why things in his life were the way that they were. And he pointed all 10 of his fingers at me and how much I have been in his way his whole life, he said to me. And he told me he hated me, and he never spoke to me again. And I haven't spoke to him since. Okay? Now, most of you, when you have a blowout with a friend or family member, when you continue to think about them, you get angry. You feel anger, you feel hatred, you feel frustration, and you feel all these non-desirable emotions. Now, I used this technique on this experience because when he told me he hated me, I was shocked. I felt horrible. It really affected me for a period of time. Okay? And then I went through this technique and I changed the emotion. So now, when I think about this fella, I don't think about hating him or him hating me or what happened to our friendship. No, I think about all the good times that we had together. I think about how grateful I am to have had such a good and loyal friend up until that point. Because it's fine, okay? It's perfectly fine. And when I think about him, I feel good and I smile. And I give him credit because at least he stuck with his decision and not liking me at all anymore. And I appreciate him for sticking to his commitment not to like me. And I send him energetic bolts of love and support every time I think about him. And I laugh because however he wants to allow himself to feel about me, it's 100% okay with me in my book. I know where I've always come from, and I know where I'm coming from energetically, and it's all good, folks. It really is. I don't lose a night's sleep over it at all. If anything, I can fall asleep feeling good about remembering all the great things that we did together throughout our life. Okay, now it's your turn to go through your life and to put this new understanding of how it all works into action on your own. Go back through your mind. Revisit as many non-desirable situations and events that you have gone through and see it as clear as you can in your mind up until that final moment where that non-desirable or that traumatic emotion has stuck with you. And in that moment, replace how you feel about what happened with a feeling that feels better. Like I said, there's no right or wrong way to do this. As long as the feeling feels better, you're moving in the right direction. So replace the feeling with a feeling that feels better by acknowledging what happened, confronting it in your mind, and replacing how it makes you feel with a different emotion. And if you can't think of an emotion to replace it with, use this one. The one I use a lot, I use this a lot of the time, is just say to yourself, I am so grateful that I am alive in this moment. And be thankful that you made it through what you did and you're still alive. Because, folks, it could be worse. You could be dead. And then what would you do? No matter what, you must change how you feel about anything that has ever happened to you and replace that emotion with one that feels better. Remember the formula: relive, confront, acknowledge, and replace with a different emotion or feeling that feels better. Relive it in your mind. See the sights, feel the feelings, smell the smells, and recall in as much detail as you can. Confront it by running it through your mind with feelings. Acknowledge that you have 100% and complete control over how you allow yourself to feel over what you went through. Then, in that moment, replace that emotion with a thought or feeling that feels better. And like I said, if you can't think of one, just use this one. I am so thankful that I'm still alive. That's a good one because it's true. And it will make you feel good when you're thankful to be alive. And what you will find is that each time you do this process, you will feel jolts of energy throughout your body. You may feel a tingle or numbness in your face and throughout your entire body. We're all a little different. We all experience different things. The key is to allow the emotions and allow the tears to flow through you. Then you will be able to recall anything and everything that you have ever gone through in your life and use it to your advantage, because nothing is holding you back. Nothing is in your way, and you are open to create and you are open to receive the life that you desire without any resistance, without any blocks holding you back. Okay, wow. We just covered a lot of information to process and to think about. Now, what I recommend you do is put this information into action in your life and begin the process of clearing out your vibration, starting at the DNA level. And remember, there is no rush in life, okay? What we just learned only took a few minutes. However, applying it is an ongoing practice that you need to do with conscious effort. And don't think you have to go through your entire life in one sitting. Just start with one situation, one circumstance, one event, and just become aware of how you feel before, during, and after you do this process. And you can go back and change and modify and amplify the emotion over and over and over again. It's an ongoing process, folks. Life is an ongoing experience. And like I said, there's no rush in life, okay? And what will happen is, in time, with duration and practice, you'll begin to do this negative energy clearing in the moment, automatically, subconsciously, and effortlessly. So it does get easier in time. And this is the moment when you will feel what my intention is for you. And that is for you to feel better. I mean, really, truly, deep down in your soul, feel better about yourself. And that is when you will experience unlimited confidence, knowingness, self-acceptance, empowerment, and inner motivation that will keep you beaming high and feeling great for the rest of your life and beyond. This is Paul Santisi sending you a bolt, and I mean a bolt, of collective support, encouragement, empathy, and love. I appreciate you all. So by all means, keep being you and keep being great. You know I love ya.